All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the year that was 1997. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. The concept of this program is that we review a one solid year of professional wrestling between or talking about WWE or WWF at the time, WCW and ECW. We don't delve into like the indies or anything like that because another guy on this network does that. So we don't want to.
Damn him.
Yeah, damn him. We don't want to. We don't want to be repetitive. Um, but basically, we go through 1 year of or 1 year of what's going on in the major leagues of professional wrestling, which in 1997 the major leagues were the WWF, WCW, and ECW. My name is Aaron Maxon. I am joined alongside my brother Nate.
Hello.
And my brother from another mother, Archie.
Hola.
How you guys doing?
Good.
This week we are going to be discussing the Monday Nitro and WCW, the WCW Nitro and the WWF Raw from February 24th, 1997. The reason I bring those up is we're not going to have a lot of ECW discussion because if anybody isn't aware, at this time ECW would basically tell you what happened at their pay-per-view on their show. So ECW this week was just basically recapping what happened at CyberSlam, and we already had a show on CyberSlam. Right. So we're not going to review a review show. This isn't recapping the Extreme. We're not going to do that.
I will say that Aaron did a fantastic job recapping Cyber Sunday when we did do it.
Thank you. So basically what's happened is we've had CyberSlam, we had Super Brawl, which was WCW. So we're coming out of those shows, and the WWF is leading into WWF is leading into WrestleMania 13, if I'm chronologically correct. WCW is leading into the uncensored pay-per-view, and ECW is leading into their first inaugural pay-per-view, which I shouldn't say first inaugural, it's redundant. But anyway, they're leading into Barely Legal. So, with that being said, you guys have anything we need to talk about before we get into the week that was starting?
The only thing I'll really add is that at this point in time, it was like all three companies were firing on all cylinders. There wasn't a bad week of a show. There wasn't a bad segment. And even if there was a bad segment, they made up for it on the next four segments for you, so you weren't exactly bored.
Yes, well, and I actually talked about it on Slice of Time last week because I was covering the story of ECW finally getting clearance from Request TV to put Barely Legal on pay-per-view, which had been, up in the air. And I even said it on the show. This is the time where ECW finally rose up, and instead of a big 2, it became a big 3.
Right.
Just real quick for anybody that didn't listen last week, because we're going to start with the way I like to try to do the show is whichever company's pay-per-view we're coming out of, I like to do their show first, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that didn't listen, coming out of Super Brawl 7, Six-Pac beat Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight Championship. Conan Laparca and Viano 4 defeated Uvis, Ciclope, and Super Calo. Rey Mysterio versus Prince Iaukea. Prince Iaukea won that match and retained his TV title. Buff Bagwell versus DDP was god-awful, but DDP won that. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero for the U.S. title. Eddie Guerrero retained his title. A tag team triangle match. Public Enemy defeated the Faces of Fear and Harlem Heat. In a grudge match, Jeff Jarrett defeated Steve McMichael, which garnered him entrance into the Horsemen. In a San Francisco street fight, which is fucking amazing. Kevin Sullivan versus Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit won that. Lex Luger and the Giant defeated the Outsiders to become the tag team champions. And Hulk Hogan defeated Rowdy Piper. And the story of that match was the fact that Randy Savage has now joined the NWO.
Yep. And if you have not yet, and you want to know why the subtitle of Aaron's Super Brawl 7 episode was Mouse Man of Green Mile, go listen to the show. We're not going to tell you here. You got to listen.
Yeah. Little Easter egg, little nugget. Find it. So anything else on that, guys? Or are we good?
Benoit and Sullivan stole the show on that card. That's all I got to say.
And Miss Jackie was the MVP for taking the bump. She fucking.
Oh, definitely.
So, with that being said, we're rolling into February 24th, 1997. We're in Sacramento, California for WCW Nitro. Our broadcast team for hour number 1 is Tony Schiavone and the great Larry Zbyszko. I know Archie feels Larry Zbyszko, but he's fantastic.
The human game of chess.
He's funny.
I like Larry.
The guy, he's so funny.
I'll tell you guys what. I like Larry on commentary. I do not like Larry outside of the ring and in the ring. The reason I don't like him outside of the ring is because whenever Larry talks about a current wrestler or even a wrestler he used to deal with in the past, he comes off as high and mighty. And all I could ever think about Larry Zbyszko is, you mentioned it earlier, Aaron, when I made a joke in the chat that we have. Who did he ever beat? Yes, he beat Bruno. Yes, he beat a lot of big names, but he was never world heavyweight champion in the WWF or WCW.
One of my favorite things, and we talk about the company TNA all the time about its existence and how we can't believe it still exists. But to me, one of the best things in the history of that company is the little mini tension between Raven and Larry Zbyszko.
Oh my God!
Larry, he goes. I need you to sign this release. The blah blah blah. I don't remember what the actual thing was, and Raven goes, "I'll sign it after I stab you in the head and fill the pen with your own blood, and then I'll sign the contract in your own blood." And Larry goes, and I quote, "I'll take that as a no." Anyway, sorry, we always get in the weeds on all our shows, but
that's fine. Zbyszko and Schiavone open up the show. They're just talking about. They're in Sacramento. Some shit happened last night at Super Brawl, and they recapped the 3-way match from Super Brawl and kind of recap what's going on with Jeff Jarrett and Steve McMichael, because now Jeff Jarrett is a horseman, and kind of putting over that Jarrett and McMichael don't like each other, but they're both horsemen now, but they're both the only active members of the Horsemen because Benoit's laid up now, Flair's hurt, and Arn's retired. So the Horsemen are kind of their hopes are kind of
on Deborah Mongo and
you guys that don't like
Jarrett.
Like, we're stuck with these fucking people that are like cuckolding each other. We don't know what's going on.
I could handle Mongo. I know I always make the joke Mongo is like the worst horseman, but I could handle Mongo as a horseman. Deborah was so annoying. And I know that was her job to be that annoying. But she was so annoying that, like, there were times when I'd be watching a promo and then she'd go to talk that I'd immediately change the channel. And it wasn't to go to WWF. It was just, I can't handle this. And I'd change the channel and wait till it was over. So.
I can get that. She was good to look at, though.
Yeah.
So the opening match is the Public Enemy. Listen to this fucking match. The Public Enemy versus Jeff Jarrett and Steve McMichael.
Yep.
It's gonna be a barn burner, baby.
This thing is a fucking clusterfuck from the beginning.
And it's
more of the same. with Mongo and Deborah fighting over the briefcase, and Mongo hits Jarrett with the briefcase, and Public Enemy ends up winning.
Yes.
And it's just it's the same old with these people. And I don't know if I said it before, but I've decided that I'm officially instituting my rule of I'm not watching a match with Mongo and Jarrett as a team or Mongo and Jarrett facing each other.
Well, that's good. That's good because they faced the Public Enemy 2 more times after that.
I'm not watching it. You know,
it was like a real big storyline. They could not beat the Public Enemy, and all I kept thinking was, "Is really?"
You know, Cornette's like tooth and nail rule.
Yeah.
Riho rule. Not trying to steal the great Jim Cornette's thunder, but I have a Mongo Jarrett rule, and I'm not watching him anymore.
I don't mind it. That's fine with me.
I don't mind stealing Jim Cornette's thunder. That's all right. You're stealing from a genius.
So I'll skip over the match and watch the outcome, but I'm not watching anything that leads to it or that goes on.
I call that the Kenny Omega rule. So I get you.
So that's my rule now. I'm not watching those. After the match, obviously Jarrett and Mongo are upset with each other because they cost the match or whatever. The Horsemen come out and they start doing the same old, like I said, I love Ric Flair. I love Arn Anderson. Jeff Jarrett, I don't mind Jeff Jarrett, but Nate knows me. The fucking Horsemen were my goddamn jam.
Mine too.
But watching it now, looking at it, it's like 97 Horsemen is fucking rough.
It's bad. It's
the same.
It's the same promo. It's the same matches. It's the same thing week in and week out.
Yeah. Flair basically says that this was the one time, now that Jarrett is officially a Horseman, that they're allowed to beef with each other in a match, and then Arn makes them shake hands, and then they're all cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they leave, and they're like, oh, we're the Horsemen, and they walk away.
They didn't leave. They didn't heed Flair or Arn's warning very much after this.
We'll find out in the weeks to come here on the year that was. Anything else on these boring Horsemen?
No.
No. We can move right along.
I hate to say it,
it's the Boar Horseman. That's what it is at this point.
They're like a CBS drama. Like, what is going on? But anyway, the next match is weird. It is a luchador making, I think it's his debut because I don't remember writing his name down before this. A luchador named Galaxy.
Yes.
And he is going one-on-one with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, as a side note, Galaxy was actually Damien 666, but AAA did not want to allow WCW to use the character yet. They were kind of like feuding over the copyrights, so he had to come up with a whole new character on the fly.
Well, he came up with Galaxy.
Yes. You know what? You know what I always thought about Damien? I always thought, like, during this time, I was the guy, other than Ray, obviously everybody knows I'm a big Ray mark, but other than Rey Mysterio, I was weird because, and Aaron can attest to this, my two favorite luchadors in WCW were Silver King. Well, okay, I say three: Silver King, Super Calo, and Damien. And the reason I like Damien is Damien looks like he's the guy that, like, you'd get in a bar fight with him and he would just stab you within 4 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? He looks like a rough motherfucker. Like, he looks like a mean-ass motherfucker.
You just need to die. I don't even want to fight with you. You just need to die.
But, yeah, I dug Damien, man. He wasn't like a high flyer or anything, but I thought he was really good.
Though. And he still has a great career, actually, him and his son. So
mine would have been, obviously, like you said, Ray. If I had to pick three, my dark horse is Liz Mark Jr. I like Liz Mark Jr. La Parka. And I don't know if he's considered a luchador, but I consider him a luchador because Japan told him to fuck off, and he went there and fucking made something out of himself. I'd say Ultimo.
Yeah. And then later on, let's give, and of course there are a couple of years from it, and he's not from Mexico, he's from California, but let's give a nod to Blitzkrieg too.
Yes.
That dude
He
did
was
not
good.
have the career that he deserved because he was so good.
Well, there were so many other luchadors that were outshining him, even when he was doing his absolute greatest work. There were guys doing something better, and it was like, okay, we're gonna watch Psychosis, not Blitzkrieg,
Right.
So,
But anyway, we go into this gripping fucking match of Galaxy 666 versus Jim Duggan. And
yes.
He stabbed Jim Duggan.
Jim,
With
before
the
he could
flag.
be stabbed, Jim Nugget.
Jim Nugget.
I like it. Jim Nugget. Jim Nugget. I like it.
Jim Nugget ends up. I've drank about 12 beers, so give me a.
You're fine. I love it.
But Jim Nugget ends up Galaxy with his Tate Fist gimmick, knocking him out and pinning him 1, 2, 3. And then in a post-match interview, obviously with Mean Gene, Duggan just talks about being upset that now not only has Hulk Hogan left Jim Duggan, Randy Savage has as well.
And then Damien stabbed him in the kidney. What a slap in the
Right.
face for Jim Nugget.
Now, I have a qualm here with Jim Duggan and his whole taped fist thing. I'm sure you both have watched boxing before, and you've seen the way a cornerman intricately wraps the boxer's hands in the tape and everything to make it a hard surface. Jim Duggan used to just wheel the tape around and get it sloppily on his hand, and we were meant to believe that he was knocking people out, including the Giant. Like, you know what I mean? If I understood he was trying to be a taped fist fighter, but at least he could have came to the ring with his fist taped.
Right.
Yeah, when you do it like this, you're
Right.
hitting somebody with an oven glove.
Right. And then the thing that used to blow my mind too was the referees would disqualify him if they saw he taped his fist. Meanwhile, there's guys coming to the ring with taped fists for a match. You know what I mean? Like Psychosis had taped fist, and a couple other wrestlers would tape their hands and their wrists and their fist. It's like, so only Duggan is the one above the rule. He's the one under the rule.
Yeah.
Don't try to apply logic to Jim Nugget.
I'm trying, Aaron. I'm trying.
Just don't do it. So anything else on Galaxy 666 versus Jim Nugget?
No.
Absolutely not.
All right. Then we get a report about how you can not only order the WCW's previous Super Brawl pay-per-view on pay-per-view replay, you can also get it on WCW Internet Radio Broadcast replay.
Yes.
That was a thing, kids.
Yes, it
Listen
was.
to the pay-per-views.
You could listen to Chad Damiani tell you about the. There's a name. Look at me throwing an obscure name out there. Chad Damiani telling you about the WCW pay-per-view as it's going on, commentating. For
Not Chad DeMera.
Not Chad DeMera. No, not Chad Austin DeMera. Chad Damiani.
So anyway, WCW says if you missed Super Brawl and you want to watch it again, or you want to listen to it, give us your money.
Right.
The next match.
In their defense, back in the day, we listened to a lot of pay-per-views on
Scramble Vision.
In Scramble Vision, yeah, exactly.
No, Archie, did we ever did either Nate or I ever tell you the story of the magical television?
No.
Nate and I had a magical television. Mm-hmm. It was the screen was about a little smaller than like a regular.
It was like a 13-inch.
13 TV, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it was channels 1 through 13. And on this TV, each channel had a tuner.
Right.
Okay? A little small disc that if your TV looked a little wonky, you could tune it.
Right.
And if you put it on channel 13 and tuned it properly, you could get a fuzzy, somewhat visible image of a pay-per-view, a wrestling pay-per-view. Whatever was on pay-per-view, you could see it. So
We
Nick
had it here too.
could scramble a little bit and watch fuzzy
and after a
wrestling
while,
pay-per-views.
you didn't even care that it was scrambled because you were listening. At least you were hearing what was
Yes,
going
we
on.
were hearing what was going on.
You know,
Like
and
we weren't stealing porn. We were
right?
stealing
No.
wrestling
And then you'd have that sweet spot where for like 5 minutes it would like straighten up, and then it would just be like a fuzzy black and white. And you could actually watch it.
Right.
We're sitting there fucking
You'd
glued
see
to it.
Shawn Michaels connect with the super kick. You'd be like, oh boy, and then it would go black again.
You could still hear it, and you knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was fantastic. Sorry, go ahead.
I watched the '96 Royal Rumble, and it was the part where they were burying the Undertaker, and he was being pushed in the casket, and then the gong went off, and they started playing all the weird music. My father was in the living room. I'm in my bedroom. My door's open, and I have the TV full blast to hear it, so I could hear it. And all this is going on. My dad comes in the room and goes, "So since when did we start listening to exorcisms? What the fuck is going on?" I'm like, "I'm watching wrestling." He's like, "That's watching wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's pay-per-view. It's scrambled."
Unless you're gonna buy me the pay-per-view.
Well, then couldn't I just give you the $29.99 so I didn't have to get the shit scared out of me just now?
The saddest day of my life was that fucking tube busted when I got it.
Oh yeah, never got another TV that did that. Never got another TV that did that.
Like 10-year-old me, that was the first time in the history of Aaron that he was just like, "What the fuck?" I've been bitter ever since. So we move into the next match.
Yes, sir.
The next match is Hugh Morris, all right, versus Joe Gomez.
Oof.
Oh man, the Desperado.
Who from this day forward, we're no longer going to call Joe Gomez on this show.
Okay.
Joe Gomez's new name is Mexican McMichael.
He does look like Steven Michaels, yes, a shorter, smaller version.
He's actually about the same exact size McMichael.
He's a little shorter.
All right, he's Mexican McMichael.
Okay. I like it.
So Mexican McMichael versus Hugh Morris. This match happened. There's no notes for it because I have no notes for it because it was terrible. And Hugh Morris defeats Mexican McMichael.
The best part about this match was the name of Hugh Morris's finisher.
The No Laughing Matter.
Yeah, because in my opinion, there was never another better name for a finishing move. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The No Laughing Matter. The guy's name is Hugh Morris. He comes in the ring laughing, and then this 320-pound monster hits you with a moonsault called the No Laughing Matter. You know.
And at least he can say, good for Bill DeMott, he didn't wind up being the man of question.
Right.
Because that was their original deal for him.
And I believe they called him that one time on a Saturday night. I believe, like in his first match, they might have called him it. Like as a nickname, right. The man of question, Hugh Morris.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you're right.
And my thing is, like, I'm not a big Mexican McMichael fan, but I am, and Nate can attest to this because he's known me forever. I am actually a Bill DeMott fan. I think Bill DeMott was fucking awesome.
I do too.
That big fucker could do shit that a guy his size shouldn't be able to do.
Right.
I think he had a good personality, and I've never watched a match that he was in with somebody that was good. I should say, like, how do I want to say it? Like, I've never seen him do anything that was like, yeah, fuck that.
Right.
A chump there. And that fucking moonsault that he could do, and he like I am a Hugh Morris fan.
I agree.
Super good big man wrestler.
It sucks that he had to wait till they named him General Huge Erection to win the United States title. and then the WWE didn't know what to do with him. And it was good that he became a coach and finally started teaching children, but it sucks everything that came out about him afterwards.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't look. Do I believe a majority of what they said about him? Yes, but I mean, he was a coach at the WWE Performance Center. What was he supposed to do? Hold their hand? And go, it's going to be okay, baby. Just do that squat.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're trying to become a professional wrestler.
And my thing with Bill DeMont training was the things that he did good. No, but it wasn't the. I don't think Bill DeMont was trying to be a bully.
Right.
What he was doing,
Right.
I think he was doing things the way he was taught.
Right.
Yep.
But he didn't realize I'm doing things the way I was taught in a different
Time frame.
Right. You know what I mean?
And it didn't catch up to him. Like Christopher Nowinski, who had a concussion, never said, "Hey, Bill DeMont was too hard on me." Maven didn't say it. John Morrison didn't say it. All these other guys. It wasn't until we hit like the year, I think 2002, 2003, that people started saying, "Oh, he's too tough. He's a bully," because they got softer. They weren't prepared to put in a 10-hour day in training and then go ahead and sleep and we woken up to go do a hike. And you know what I mean? It's like, well, then why did you sign up to be a wrestler? What did you think was going to happen?
And that's what I think. That's what I think happened to Bill DeMont.
Yeah,
That
the time changed, not him, not the way he was training people. The way people wanted to be trained changed.
yeah, and the things like basically social media cut up Bill DeMont.
Right.
If it makes sense.
I agree.
So, anything else on this epic Mexican McMichael versus Hugh Morris match?
I'd like to see Mexican McMichael go against American McMichael, if at all possible. I think it does happen somewhere down the line.
It happened earlier at Beach Beach. It was in '96. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
We get some WCW hype or WCW Saturday Night hype. Sorry. With the cool ass graphic where like dun, 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 and Tony Schiavone telling you what's gonna be coming up on WCW Saturday Night, and then they recap some more of the Kevin Sullivan, Chris Benoit shit. And I should say shit. You know what I mean?
No, we get it.
Like the badass shit that happened between those two at Super Brawl. Talking about how both of them are out, plus Jackie, they're all out. The next match is another weird match. And I as I'm reading this, I'm understanding kind of why they're doing this, because they're in California. So they're putting luchadors on here, but they're not doing it the way they should do it. They're doing it like polar opposite. Because guess what the next match is? It's
Super Calo versus. I was going to say Super Calo versus William Regal, but okay.
No, that would be fantastic. It is Ice Train with Teddy Long versus La Parka.
Now, La Parka was a big dude, but I don't think he was able to handle a guy like Ice Train. You know,
this match sucked.
Oh, of course,
it was really bad.
Everything Ice Train did sucked, unless Scott Norton was with him.
Agreed.
You know, he was a bad wrestler. I don't know how he had made it out of the power plant.
Through the door.
Through the door.
So, if you guys want to know who won that match,
of
it
course.
was Ice Train.
Oh, of course.
And then, do you guys have anything else about Ice Train or La Parka?
No.
No, I've said enough. I might get canceled if I continue.
The next thing is, sorry, I lost my notes here for a second. The next thing is Mike Tenay basically talking about Roddy Piper being like the one true champion. Like Mike Tenay had this like weird thing in here. He's just like, Roddy Piper, he's the one true champion. We want you back. We love you, Roddy Piper. It's like Mike today is like verbally sucking off Roddy Piper. It was just weird. I said Mike today. I meant Tony Schiavone. Sorry.
No,
I
you're
don't know
good.
why today. But Tony Schiavone is basically begging Roddy Piper to come back and how much we love you. And he's like on the microphone, like, "Oh, I love you, Roddy Piper. Everybody loves you. You're the greatest, Roddy Piper. You're the one true champion." And he's just filleting verbally Roddy Piper. It was really random and weird. So after Tony cuts a promo about how great Roddy Piper is, the next match we get is fucking awesome. Like this fucking match is great. Guess what it is?
Tell us.
You don't have to guess because I'm going to tell you. It's Meng and the Barbarian, which are the
Faces of Fear.
here versus Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero.
Damn.
Ah, damn. It's fucking great. How can this not suck? And I'm not even being like sarcastic, Aaron, being like,
Right.
"Oh, how can this not suck?" It doesn't suck. It's fucking.
No, they actually worked really well together. Considering the change in styles and Ming and the Barbarian being so brutish, Jericho and Guerrero played up against them perfectly.
And as I'm watching this match, it's like I don't understand what. Sorry, you guys don't hear these fucking.
Was that a whale?
No, it's the
Oh.
fucking dudes are like scrape the hardworking human beings are scraping
Oh.
the ribs. You guys don't hear that, do you?
Yeah,
Nope.
I heard it. I heard.
No,
thought
no,
it
I
was a
didn't hear
whale.
anything on my end.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right. What I put in my notes is Eddie and Jericho should have teamed more often. Like they were fucking great together.
Mm-hmm.
Just
They
awesome.
were.
And you would think Meng and Barbarian versus Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho. Not knowing, like, if you're not a wrestling fan, you look at these two teams, you're gonna be like, these guys couldn't beat these guys. But these are four fucking professionals, four guys that know their fucking role on the card and
Right.
know their fucking role in the match, and all of them did fantastic.
I agree.
I don't know how you could go wrong. You know, like
It's a great fucking match. Hey, I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, that was all I had to say. Really was. I mean,
My
you picture it in your mind, and you're like, well, that's got to be really good.
my favorite thing about the Faces of Fear was their finisher when they used it together. That backdrop into a power bomb, the way the Barbarian would just deadlift his opponent up from the backdrop, and Jericho and Eddie were able to take it perfectly because they were smaller dudes. But when you would see him do it to a guy like Scott Norton or Hugh Morris or something, or a Brian Knobbs, it was still tremendous looking.
Yeah, if Haku or Sione wanted to throw you around the ring, you were going to be thrown around the ring. That's just all there was to it.
Oh yeah.
The finish of the match is Eddie is gonna go up to the top to try to hit his frog splash on Barbarian, but Dean Malenko, if you remember from what I was telling you guys about Super Brawl, is pissed off that Eddie cost him his cruiserweight title to Six Pac, comes out, pushes Eddie off the top rope, and it gives Barbarian enough time to extend his foot for the big boot, Barbarian boot, and he kicks Eddie and pins him 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So Faces of Fear win the match, and something that's completely not about this show. I am looking forward to April to meeting fucking Barbarian Haku and getting their goddamn autograph and being intimidated the entire time, even though
Haku is still a badass. They did a show here during WrestleMania 36 weekend, or no, 35 weekend when they were in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Bullet Club because his sons, Tama Tonga and Tonga Low, are in the Bullet Club, and he was with them. And one of the guys from What Culture Wrestling walked up and said, "So, Haku, how does it feel to know that your sons are doing great in wrestling?" And he said, I'm very proud of them. I think they're doing fantastic. Do you think they do it just as believable as you did? And Haku looked at him and said, what do you mean by believable? And this idiot said, well, because wrestling's fake. So do you think they pass off just as well as you do? Or do you think you had a better time in the 80s and 90s pulling it off to make it look more real? And Haku grabbed this guy by the throat and flung him across the parking lot. And the rest of the Bullet Club almost whipped his ass. If the security wouldn't have grabbed him and thrown him out, they might have whipped his ass the whole party. So
don't fuck with Meng.
I'm looking forward to guys. Yeah, Meng will eat your face.
Literally.
He's bitten off people's noses. He's got eyeballs and shit. Don't fuck with that guy. My favorite Meng story is a story Chris Jericho said. And I don't want to get off topic, guys. I mean,
is this the airport story?
No, this is a locker room story.
Oh, okay.
This is Jericho said he was sitting. I don't remember who he said he was with. It was Chris and Tammy. He was sitting with Chris and Tammy, talking to those two. It wouldn't have been them. Either way, Chris was sitting down talking to somebody, and oh my God, you guys still there?
Yeah,
you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here. Yeah.
Okay, everything flipped for a minute. The fucking Wi-Fi here sucks. But Jericho said he's sitting there talking. I don't remember the two people he's talking to, but he's sitting there talking, and the person he's talking to is Meng, and he's like, Meng, I need to talk to you. And Meng's like, give me a minute. And Bischoff's like, hey, I need to talk to you about your match. And mind you, Bischoff's the boss at this point, you know what I mean? And Meng turns around, like he does this like 3 times. And Meng turns around and goes, I told you I'm talking to my fucking friends. You can wait a minute. And Eric Bischoff just went, find me when you're done. I'll see you later. And walked away. Never mind. We're good. Like that's I love that. I kind of butchered the story because my fucking chopped up. But so we've had the Faces of Fear versus Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho, and then we go into hour number 2, and it's Mike Tenay now joining Tony Schiavone along with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and they are discussing the Hulk Hogan Roddy Piper situation from Raw and asking where's Sting. It's just basically resetting the show because they know people are flipping at this time. So they're like, okay, now we're going to go into our next angle. We're talking about our big angle with Piper and Hogan. We're Sting, trying to get people to not flip back over to Raw. So there's really nothing there, but they're just all doing their job. So they send it to the next match, and it's Rey Mysterio versus Juventud Guerrero.
Can't go wrong there.
Nope.
And this is what I was going to ask, Nate, when you just said you can't go wrong there.
Mm-hmm.
In 1997, and this could be in like out of the left field question, these guys came to the country kind of together, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they had their shit in ECW, and then they wound up in WCW together. They finally put them together, and they started having this match. I know these guys aren't from the same country or whatever, but do you think in 1997 this was like the 92? This match was the 92 equivalent of Brian Pillman versus Jushin Liger?
Wow.
Where it's like, don't get up. Like if you get up, you're gonna miss some shit.
Yeah, I would say tie. I would say actually there's a tie. You could throw another guy in there in the mix, and any of the 3 of them combined, it would be Mysterio, Hoovy, and Psychosis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally see what you're saying there.
Because it's like
They had battles everywhere. ECW, their first match in ECW, I was awestruck having never seen them before.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they got to WCW and the 6-man tags and the tag team matches and then the one-on-ones and like you said, Nate, Psychosis being interchangeable, Eddie getting involved every now and then. You know what I mean? Ray's matches with Dean Malenko were some of the best WCW produced ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you put those 4 or 5 guys in a match on the card, you were guaranteed to get the fans cheering.
Yes.
So
I wasn't completely off base thinking about that.
not at all.
Oh,
Not at
absolutely
all.
not. No. Like I said, the only tweak I would have made to it was just to throw Psychosis into the mix. But the 3 of them, it was like that. Like you said, it's that. Okay, this match is on. I hope you don't have to pee for 20 minutes because
Don't let the phone ring.
You're gonna miss something. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in this match, it's obviously really, really good. How can it not be? Rey Mysterio ends up winning that match with a modified West Coast Pop. That wasn't what it was called at the time.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically the move that he used. So Ray wins that 1-2-3 over Uvi. And then we move into Nate's favorite guy, Lee Marshall, with his 1-800 Road Report. And he's talking about being in Atlanta. All right. He's talking about that. I'm in Atlanta. Here we go. And in Atlanta, he saw Gone with the Weasel.
Boo.
Yes. And he said he watched Gone with the Weasel, and everybody remembers the iconic line from Gone with the Weasel. Actually, Charlotte, weasels can't build a dam.
What?
Fuck off out of here, Lee Marshall.
Yeah.
Which is basically what Bobby Heenan said.
With your bullshit.
I would like Bobby to quote Lee Marshall at like an odd Nitro taping that he wasn't at a college or something and just hold up and punch Lee Marshall. Like
I was going to say the funny thing
know?
is, Marshall did those 1-800 collect things for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only time, in WCW, that maybe they did Thunder together sometimes, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't think they ever actually worked on TV together. I don't know.
Well, see, because I was going to say the only time I ever even remember them working together was that WCW all-nighter thing when they were,
I'm sure they probably had to sit through a fucking Thunder together.
I used to love those, by the way, Nate. The WCW all-nighter.
Yeah, Bobby was on point on those things.
Oh,
he was drunk.
Yeah, him and Gene were both fucking hammered.
Right.
And I know he's not everybody's favorite dude in the world or whatever, but he probably wasn't drunk. But fucking Tony Schiavone, who's funny as shit, got to hang out with drunk Bobby Heenan and drunk Mean Gene.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's just laughing at their shit with these fucking yahoos.
Yeah, and for those of you that have never seen them, you can find them on YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Edited. They edit. They actually. There's a. I don't even
know
know who
them.
it is.
There's one of them on the network.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they edit out the matches and stuff, and they just show you the broadcast team hanging out in the hotel.
And that's some of the best part. Because we saw all the matches. We didn't need to see a recycled version of a match from 2 months ago. So, it was seeing the backstage stuff going on.
Because Tony said it. He said even though Bobby hated him, he said some of his favorite fucking times on the road were driving with Bobby and Mean Gene. like he said that they pulled up to a drive-through at a gas station, and there was this big lady, she was in this basically a glass box, so she couldn't get robbed or shot or whatever. And Bobby was like, "Ma'am, if you fart, you're done. Don't fart. If you fart, you're done." But anyway, so we get Lee Marshall with the Gone with the Weasel actually Charlotte Weasels can't build a dam, and Bobby Heenan's like, what the fuck did I ever do to this guy? Fucking busting my balls every week.
Every week, poor Bobby would be like, "What do I do?
Yeah, I don't even know
Who
this
is this guy?"
piece of shit. Tiger motherfucker.
Old AWA heat.
They weren't even there at the same time. But anyway, the next match, and I want you guys to like take like a mental picture of these matches I'm telling you, because a lot of them are very bad. Like, imagine you've paid money to see this. The next match is Prince Iakea defending his television championship against Pat Tanaka.
Doom, doom,
Wait.
doom, doom, doom.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Dun, dun,
You
mean-
dun, dun, dun.
The
You mean
Pat
this guy?
Yes. Well, no, he had black pants.
Oh, well, this is Oriental Express, Pat Tanaka.
This isn't Oriental Express Pat Tanaka. This is black pants Pat Tanaka.
This is the guy.
This is the outfit.
This is the guy Goldberg stole his music from, Pat Tanaka.
Right.
Who said in a story, I made millions.
Yes.
And Vandal Drummond goes, of what? That's my favorite thing ever. It's a joke between me and Nate, but that's funny. But yeah, Pat Tanaka comes out to Goldberg's music, and he's going to try to win the TV title from Prince.
No, sir. Pat Tanaka came out to his music. Goldberg jacked Pat Tanaka's music.
Okay.
Pat Tanaka was first. Goldberg was next.
Who's next?
Right.
Who's on first? What the fuck is going on?
Charlotte Weasels can't build a dam.
But anyway, Pat Tanaka beats, or Pat Tanaka. Pat Tanaka beats nobody.
Ever.
Prince Iakea beats Pat Tanaka. 1, 2, 3, retains his title. Do you guys have this is the dumbest question I've ever asked in my life. Do you guys have anything to say about Pat Tanaka versus Prince Iakea?
Not a goddamn thing.
All right.
Nothing nice to say, so I think we should just move on.
All right. The next match kind of gave me a semi when I was like, oh, this match is happening. And I got a semi. It's the Ultimo Dragon versus Dean Malenko. Oh, my fucking God.
Can't go wrong there. I've said that a few times in this
I have
show.
been watching this goddamn thing all night, and I finally get to see this.
It is fantastic.
Some of my notes are not only is Ultimo Dragon one of the best fucking wrestlers of all time. Okay. Anybody gonna deny me on that?
Nope.
But is he also not one of the fucking coolest looking wrestlers ever?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What an awesome look.
Just that fucking outfit. It's like, Jesus Christ, this dude can work his ass off. Can work with anybody. It doesn't matter how big or small or whatever they are. But that fucking look, it was fucking great.
With his mask and his cool ass capes.
Yeah. And just, he looked fucking awesome. The next question, the next thing I was going to ask was, is there a in-ring bell-to-bell smoother guy that we've been talking about in 1997 than Dean Malenko?
No. I mean, I'll be honest, him and Eddie were toe-to-toe when it came to being smooth in the ring. They had great matches with whoever it was against. I mean, I remember Eddie having fantastic matches with guys like, and this is no knock to Alex Wright, but he was putting Alex Wright over, in essence, in a lot of the matches they had with each other. With Dean was having matches with guys like, we mentioned Galaxy and Super Caldo, and those were cruiserweights that were not Dean's exact style, but he was still having fantastic, smooth matches with them. So, in my opinion, Eddie and Dean were the 1A, 1B for the cruiserweight and mid-card division.
Yeah. Like I said, I know Dean wasn't like a promo champ and the biggest guy in the world, but I don't honestly think there was a smoother fucking wrestler than Dean.
He didn't need to say much, though.
Yeah.
Even when he did talk, he didn't need to say much.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You know
this
what I mean?
match, this match had like the most questions out of this. So the last question I got out of this is for you guys: Sonny Ono, yay or nay?
As a manager, he was passable. I mean, he wasn't bad.
Nay.
Nay.
Really?
Nay. Yeah, I didn't like Sonny Ono. I want to say one thing about Malenko before you go on to whatever's next, Aaron. And you guys tell me if you think I'm off base. Do you know in his generation, we always say, oh, this guy is this guy of this generation or whatever. And I know everybody's the first them, and I know, but and it's wrestling, and you're going to make comparisons, right?
Right.
Is or is not, because we talked about promo ability and being smooth. You're never going to get a bad match. Isn't Dean Malenko the Greg Valentine of his generation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, yeah.
I could say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've never been blown away by a Greg Valentine promo. I mean, he had some great promos with Piper and their Starcade feud and all that. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been blown away by a Greg Valentine promo. But I know that in his prime, not in like 95 or whatever, but in his prime from like the late 70s to the mid 80s, if there's a Greg Valentine match, it's going to be fucking good, and he's going to be smooth, and he's going to be a hell of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, he's built like a turtle. I can see it.
Man.
So in this match, unless you guys have any other comments on any of that, Dean Malenko gets frustrated and ends up not breaking his chokehold on Ultimo Dragon, so he gets disqualified, and then he beats the shit out of Sonny Ono. And the commentators are talking about how this is like a new side of Dean Malenko. He's usually the Iceman, but now he's fucking freaking out. And basically he's pissed off because of his cruiserweight title situation. And after the match, Gene Okerlund interviews Dean Malenko, and then Dean Malenko obviously blames Eddie Guerrero for his loss and that he's not getting enough respect. And until he gets respect, he's just going to fuck everybody up.
Yep.
That's pretty
cool. He questions Eddie's integrity, saying Eddie is not who he seems to be.
Yeah. He's like, don't trust
him. Basically saying Eddie Guerrero's a heel in face clothing.
He's a sneaky Mexican. Don't trust him. Like if Bobby Heenan was his manager, they would be over the moon. We'll talk about this guy. So the next match is Diamond Dallas Page versus Squire Dave Taylor. I really like Squire Dave Taylor.
I do too, but
he's my kind of wrestler. And
he is also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's fine.
Him and William Regal are part of, I think, a large part of the reason why Drew McIntyre is so good right now.
Yes.
Because he got to work with them in, 2000, what was it, like 2005 or whatever, Velocity and, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But we discussed it on Archie's show this week. What a learning tree. When you think about the learning tree that someone's learning under, Dave Taylor and William Regal kind of took Drew under their wing, when he was very young. And good on them. Anyway, just side note.
That's fine. And like I said, like I wrote my notes, Dave Taylor is my kind of wrestler. And then I actually put in my notes, love him or hate him, which I hate him. But DDP was fucking over with WCW crowd.
Oh yeah.
Like he's the Brutus Beefcake of WCW. Like
No. Well, okay. I know what you're saying.
I'm not even saying that as I'm saying that as Aaron saying this. You know what I mean? Like I hate Brutus Beefcake, but when I watched like 87 through like 89, it's like fucking Brutus Beefcake was fucking over with those people. I fucking hated him, but he was selling goddamn inflatable fucking scissors. So go with it. You know what I mean? And that's what DDP was. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say, Nate.
Well, I was just gonna say for the intents and purposes of WCW, I'm going with a different kind of comparison than you. I'm not talking about a guy I hate that was over with the crowd, but for WCW, it was like DDP in that company was I think honestly was kind of like Edge with WWE in that he was hear me out. He was their homegrown guy.
Yeah. Right.
You know, he was the guy that started there, and at first he just kind of was flat, and then he came up a little bit, and then he came up a little bit, and then holy shit, now he's one of the biggest stars in the company. Right. And that's kind of how Edge's WWE run went or is going or what have you. But
yeah.
Anyway,
I thought you were gonna try to say like ability. I was gonna be mad for
no. That's why I said I was making a different comparison. Like in my brain, I was making a different kind of comparison than you were.
All right. Art, you got anything on DDP or Dave Taylor?
I like Dave Taylor. I have no major problem with DDP. I mean, there were times that he was pretty decent, and he had a good storyline going. But I think the constant, is he going to join the NWO? Isn't he going to? Between him and Sting, after a while, it was like, okay, we get it. They're not joining the NWO, but you keep pushing that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are rolling into with DDP. The only enjoyable thing he ever did in his career, because Kevin Nash and Scott Hall come out and they circle the ring, and then Randy Savage attacks DDP from behind, thus starting the DDP Randy Savage feud.
Yep.
In this, while this is happening, a stupid ass fan jumps the rail. Like legitimately.
Twice a year we get one of those fucking Nimrods in pro wrestling. It's like clockwork. There's 2 a year.
And Randy Savage and Scott Hall beat the fuck out of this guy.
And deservedly so.
Yes.
Savage beats the hell out of him.
Just beats the shit out of this guy. And he deserves all of it. And after that, there's no result in these matches. There's no result in the match.
I have something I need to say about you. Nate mentioned it's like twice a year this happens in wrestling, and it's the truth. It does happen 2 to 3 times a year. Obviously, these are people who are not mentally all there because they believe that the actual fight going on in the ring is absolutely real.
Or that Seth Rollins fucked them on Cash App or whatever.
Exactly. But they got catfished by Seth Rollins. And so they jumped the barricade. Now, I'm not trying to belittle anybody who needs, mental care or anyone who may be special needs. But obviously they went to the show with someone because people who usually like that, mentally insane or whatever, don't drag themselves anywhere.
Yeah, they got a handler.
We have a handler, exactly. Someone to watch over them, whatever you want to call them.
No,
where is that person?
It's the thing. It's their handler.
Where is that person to grab them by the arm and say, "No, Jimmy, don't jump the barricade. No, Steven, it's not real." That they let them, you know what I mean? They let them jump the barricade and get an ass whipping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they think DDP needs their help. You know, or Seth Rollins screwed them over,
Yeah.
or CM Punk, or
DDP.
CM Punk really is picking on them.
DDP
Yeah.
needs me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's the people's champion.
Gotham needs me.
He's the people's champion, and I'm the people, so I have to go help him.
You're definitely the people.
You know what I mean?
I work retail. You are definitely the people.
You are the people.
Speaking
And then Jack Swagger says, "We the people," and then some idiot. Anyway,
I went to an indie event with my son. He was 9 at the time, and Luke Harper, who was Brody Lee at the time because he was on the Indies, got pushed off the top rope by Homicide and literally landed in mine and my son's lap. His head was in my lap. His legs were in my son's. My son started to laugh. I did too. It's no big deal. He's a wrestler. It's going to happen when you're front row. So he got off. He apologized immensely under his breath with his hair in his face. And he got back in the ring and he beat the shit out of Homicide. The match was over. Comes over to meet him and my son at the end of the show. Breaking character like you wouldn't believe, because this guy at the time on the Indies was this big maniac who teamed with Necro Butcher. Comes, he breaks character. He's like, look, is your son okay? Are you okay? Is there anything I could do? Is there anything I could offer? Free merch? You want to get in the ring with any of the wrestlers and take pictures? Like, dude, I've come to a million wrestling matches. I never had a wrestler that close to me that I wasn't paying to take a picture with.
Right.
That was awesome. You're fine. Thank you. And I'm like, but I'm thinking to myself, like, in that same, I didn't think that I should go jump in the ring and beat up Brody Lee at that time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, he almost injured us. I'm going to kill. No. You know? So.
Yeah, these idiots.
Sorry about that, Aaron.
It's okay. I don't understand people jumping the rail either.
Yeah.
And then when they do, and I watch them get fucked up, I'm like,
He deserved that.
like the fucking little, like when Brian Hildebrand, who was like 120 pounds, like that guy up and slammed him on his fucking neck.
Right.
And shit. And Bobby Heenan was like, who knew Brian Hildebrand was the fucking baddest ass dude in the ring? You know, that type of shit.
Or watching Eddie stomp the piss out of that guy that tried to get on in his ladder match with Van Damme.
Yeah.
Stomp the fucking piss out of that guy.
What's his name now? Cash?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bret Hart deal.
Brett.
Yeah. What's his was Cash Wilder?
Cash Wheeler.
Cash Wheeler.
Cash Wheeler. Mm-hmm.
Like he's the MVP of that fucking situation. That fucking guy attacks Brett, knocks Natty down, and they don't know what the fuck to do. And I'm not knocking them, because if somebody fucking scoops your legs and you're fucking taking an award, you're gonna be like, what the fuck for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right. Especially if you're Brett. And I'm not knocking Brett. Brett's an older man. You know what I mean?
Right. He's had his concussions. He doesn't know what's going on.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? And they're trying to get this guy out of there. And fucking Cash Wheeler just at the end of it was just like, he's like fighting the entire time. And Cash Wheeler was just like, no, we're gonna end this.
That should have kept him employed by the WWE for the rest of his life.
WWE should have gave him a goddamn life contract. When that dude was
saved a legend.
We're done. We're done.
You know what I mean?
And the best part is he was wearing like a Heart Foundation jacket.
Yep.
He was just like, nope. Boom.
Not today.
So that was great shit. It's great shit, pal. Went off on a tangent there. But anyway, there's no result from that Dallas Page Dave Taylor match. The next thing is unless you guys have something else you want to talk about before I move on from there.
Nope, we're good.
Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and the NWO come out, and they introduce Hulk Hogan, and then they bring out Randy Savage, and they're talking about Randy Savage joining the NWO, and the NWO, and this is going to sound crazy in 2022, talking about what happened in 1997, but the NWO gives Randy Savage Elizabeth.
Yep.
They're like, you can have her back.
Sorry for what we did to her all these months.
Yes, we apologize. You can have her back.
She's a little stickier than you remember, but she'll clean off. Don't
Yes.
worry.
And essentially, the story they're trying to say is that Randy Savage has joined the NWO to protect Liz,
Right.
is what they're trying to say.
Well, because the storyline was he wasn't allowed to wrestle in WCW anymore with a WCW contract. He was fired from that or whatever, and they took Liz away from him. So the only way he could wrestle and be with Elizabeth was to join the NWO.
Yes.
Well, at least it ended the rapey Hogan gimmick.
Right.
So they're like, thank you for joining our biker gang. You can have your woman back now.
Right. Here's your wife.
I'm done with her.
Right.
There you go. Jesus Christ.
Now, again, they asked the question, well, where's Sting in all of this? Because he was hanging out with Sting for the last 4 weeks. And, did Sting tell him to join the NWO? And I'll be honest with you. Even though they out and out said Savage only joined the NWO to get back together with Liz and to be able to wrestle, I honestly feel that there may have been a bigger story one day for Savage to destroy the NWO from the inside out.
Yeah.
But they never went through with it because of everything that was going on. Goldberg's rise, Hogan almost retiring, the finger poke of doom, you know what I mean? And then Savage leaving for that little bit and letting the NWO do their thing. They never had a chance to actually execute the move.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not knocking where they were going with it.
No.
It was kind of like, well, you can come back now.
Right.
Get your woman back. And
we trust you.
Yeah, and I think that's the angle they were going with, but they never executed it. Unless you guys have anything on that, I figure we could talk about the main event of Nitro and then maybe take like a break and talk about Raw. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. The main event of WCW Nitro is Lex Luger and the Giant, the new WCW Tag Team Champions, the Boring Express, versus Harlem Heat. And Eric Bischoff comes out, stops it, brings out the entire NWO with him, strips Lex Luger and Giant of the titles.
Yes.
Thankfully, because Jesus Christ, who wants to live through that? And Lex Luger challenges the NWO. Okay. This shit's so convoluted. Bischoff strips Luger and Giant of the titles. Okay.
Right.
They got those under fucking shitty reasons because Luger had his arm hurt. So when they went to the fucking pay-per-view, Luger came in, pinned him. He shouldn't have been in the match because his fucking arm's hurt. Goddamn. Luger, you shouldn't have been in the match. And Luger was the guy that got the fucking first submission because, like, Luger got, I think it was Nash up in the rack and Giant choke slammed Hall. Well, Nash submitted. Well, Luger wasn't supposed to legally be in the match because his arm was still fucking hurt. And he wasn't cleared. So Luger was illegally in the match. So give the belts back. And now Luger has challenged the NWO to a match uncensored where all the titles are on the line.
Well, when the match was announced, yes, all the titles were on the line. But over these next few weeks, the rules that get put in place are hideous. No. I'm just saying.
We're talking about in the moment.
In the moment, yes, all the titles are going to be on the line, despite Prince Iake not being a member of the NWO.
It's like everybody's
and Eddie Guerrero's not there.
Like Prince Iake should be sitting in the back, being like, "What the fuck?
Right? What are you doing with my belt?"
Yeah, I have nothing to do with fucking Kevin Nash. I'm over here
Right.
fucking with Prince. I'm over here fucking with fucking Pat Tanaka and Hardbody Harrison. What the fuck are you
Right.
talking to me about?
I got a busy no schedule dodging William Regal. You want me to fight for the NWO?
I got like 6 segments in the fucking main event. What the fuck are you doing? Talking about me, Luger. Fuck with my business. You fuck with my Arby's money. Goddamn.
Eddie Guerrero sitting there. Child was like, Eddie, did you hear what they said? I don't care.
So they strip him of the belts, and then Luger, like I said, challenges him to a all titles match down the road, and then Sting shows up in the middle of all this shit, and Hogan hugs Sting, and Nitro goes off the air with Hogan hugging Sting, contemplating that Sting is joining the NWO.
Right. Which, again, was WCW doing the same thing they've been doing since War Games, almost a full year. Oh no, Sting joined the NWO without Sting actually saying, I'm joining the NWO.
So that's sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's the February 24th, 1997 Nitro.
Break.
Yes.
Ready?
Okay.
Break.
You guys aren't bored yet, are you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. I was gonna make the joke earlier. I was gonna if you would have said, Nate, any thoughts on that final segment of Nitro? And I was gonna be like, I fell asleep while you were describing it. It's so convoluted.
But it's the truth. They changed the rules of that match like 14 times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then during the match, they change it again.
don't worry, I destroy it later on.
All right.
But I gotta walk down a long hallway to smoke. So
Yep, I'll be back momentarily.
Yep.
was buying the external hard drive.
Okay.
Oh, her dad said I could marry her. I saw her and her dad a week ago.
Her dad said I could marry her. No, though. Welcome back.
So I got something in the mail today that I was happy to get.
Oh, what's that?
Besides all the wrestling shit that I have, I also collect. I have hundreds of other geeky things like Star Wars figures and et cetera, et cetera. But one of my favorites that I got today arrived that I ordered. I got the action figure of Jeepers Creepers.
If I would have known you were looking for that, I was finding them a few months ago all over Target.
Oh, really?
I would have gone.
Yeah, we don't have a Target here, so I don't ever. But it's made by Mego, same people that made that Andre the Giant deal.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was like, yeah,
they're pretty detailed figures.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I have that goofy Mego Andre the Giant.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Let's see where we at here.
We're going into fucking Raw, and thank you guys for stumbling through this with me. I appreciate it.
We stumble through everything we do.
Exactly. We're a stumbling bunch.
I just hope you guys aren't bored with it.
I don't know.
All right, let me write down the time.
We're actually getting into fucking Raw being really good.
Yeah, because we're going into WrestleMania season.
Yeah, but when you guys hear the Raw, we're going to
we're basically 2 weeks ahead of schedule where we are right now on the road to WrestleMania in 97 as we are right now. So
yeah, that's a good point.
All right, go.
All right, so we've talked about Nitro, which was kind of a lackluster show. They didn't really, in my opinion, I don't want to say it.
They didn't bring it.
They didn't bring it. They didn't capitalize off.
Coming off such a great pay-per-view, they could have brought it so much
pretty
harder.
goddamn solid pay-per-view. They didn't really do much with it.
Yeah.
But we're rolling into WWF Monday Night Raw, February 24th, 1997, from the Manhattan Center in New York.
Woo!
The place where Raw was born. And
yes, sir.
Not to get too off into the weeds or whatever, but because the building they're in isn't the main thing we're talking about on the show, but the Manhattan Center, which is different than the Hammerstein Ballroom. Okay, people kind of like confused.
Yeah,
it's the same complex. It's not the same room. Both cool rooms, but the Manhattan Center is a cool room for fucking wrestling, in my opinion.
Yes. Yep. And they
agree.
always you always hear the stories about what a pain in the ass it was to produce there because it wasn't on the first floor, so they had to take everything up that service elevator and
like
yeah.
4 pieces of the ring at a time and all
Yeah.
that. But the fucking atmosphere of the Manhattan Center for wrestling is great,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So we roll into Monday Night Raw. Manhattan Center, Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, whatever. They're all talking about it. And unless you guys had anything about the Manhattan Center,
Mm-mm.
we'll roll right into the matches. It starts out with the Godwins facing the new Blackjacks.
All right.
Barry Windham and JBL, and the only thing I can say about it is thank God the stalker's dead.
New like I
I'll
said,
be honest. I would have any team that gets the word "new" put in front of them is an automatic failure, no matter what. The new Rockers, the new Blackjacks, the new Midnight Express. They should have just let them be Barry Windham and Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
But I will say one
Call them
thing.
Windham and Bradshaw.
I will say one thing though, and I'm not even I'm not even overstating it by saying it. One of my favorite vignettes in the history of pro wrestling is Jack Lanza at the campfire with the black and white doing the when he's first introducing these guys.
and he throws like whatever accelerant or whatever he had on the front.
And he's like cackling and that's fucking cool as shit. Like that was cool as shit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Anyway.
And these two teams are badass teams, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I forgot to mention was out of watching all of this, like going to 97, this is the first 2-hour Raw, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All this time before that, they were 1 hour. And
Yep.
watching all this, and I'm not going to like break any kayfabe on this. I've gone ahead and I've made notes on shows after this. Like I'm not watching this week to week and it's just talking about it. I have notes. As I've been watching it, I feel like a little bit of what Vince Russo has talked about, saying like, "Oh, the Berlin Raw," which we're gonna watch next week, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Was when he went to Vince and said, "Oh, this show sucks. It needs to be whatever." It's like there. I don't know if it was just that one show that made it happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But anyway.
Well, that one show was pretty god awful.
It was. But I think Vince Russo kind of did some revisionist or like some changing of history. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. But
Of course.
The Godwins and the Blackjacks come out. This Manhattan crowd is cool because it's a New York WWF crowd and it's small, so there's not a lot of there's not a lot of editing the crowd or tuning them out or whatever. So there's audible like Nitro sucks chants and Bischoff sucks. Like
just to put it in perspective, everybody, the Manhattan Center New York City crowd is what convinced Vince to turn Razor Ramon babyface.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm just saying they were a hot crowd. They were the equivalent to an ECW arena crowd for the WWF.
Yeah, I was gonna. You said it good with the Razor Ramon turning crowd. Like this would be if you would take the first 4 rows of Madison Square Garden, and plop them in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are your diehards. These are your WWF fans. Plus, on this show, they're not only the diehard WWF fans, but they walked in the building knowing they were going to see ECW guys.
Yes.
So
Right.
this
There was an
crowd
invasion about
was
to happen.
goddamn amped.
Right.
During this match between the Godwins and the Blackjacks is the on-screen debut of Ken Shamrock. Obviously, he's not wrestling, but they show Ken Shamrock in the crowd, and Jerry Lawler is talking about how big of a friend he is with Ken Shamrock. They're super tight.
Mm-hmm.
Lawler's talking about how he taught Ken Shamrock how to fight. He's like, I taught him so much stuff. This guy loves me. We're best friends. I taught him everything he knows. And the ending of this match is the Blackjacks win because Bradshaw gets a clothesline. I think it was on Pig. I forgot. Yeah, it was on Pig. That's Phineas Godwin. If anybody doesn't know, Henry O. Godwin, Phineas I. Godwin, Hog and Pig, the Godwins.
Vince McMahon to a T, ladies and gentlemen. That's a hog and a pig. That's good shit, pal.
We know this. Sure, there's a lot of our fans that know this, but how many people are like, I was 80 years old when I realized their initials made pig and a hog?
Matt Perez.
Well, the ref missed the fact that Pig's foot was on the rope, and the two Blackjacks win, and then the Godwins kind of smacked Mike Chioda around after the match, and that's how that ended. Right. So unless you guys have anything on the Godwins or the Blackjacks, we'll move on.
Yep.
We come back.
Solid tag match.
We come back from the break, and it's an obvious thing they're setting up because you never see a fucking ring attendant working on the ring. But there's a guy out there cleaning up the ropes and shit, and the Eliminators show up, and they give him a total elimination, which is actually a badass fucking move, in my opinion.
One of my favorite finishers. One of my favorite finishers in all of wrestling.
And that guy probably worked for the Italian Stallion.
Probably. But he takes it.
Probably.
And then Paulie shows up, and the fans are losing their fucking minds. And he cuts a promo about ECW is invading, and they're here now. And he introduces Little Guido and Big Stevie Cool and the BWO make their entrance. And
the crowd eats the BWO up. They love it.
The fucking
it's over with the crowd.
They're fucking losing their goddamn minds. And
is this the match where Vince McMahon references the NWO as a clothing line?
Yes.
Yes.
That's in my notes. They come out and Stevie says, "We got 3 words for you," and Vince McMahon's like, "Oh no." And Stevie's like, "We're taking over," and Vince laughs. He horse laughs at it. Because, like, in his mind, he's like, "Oh, fuck you, assholes," or whatever. But when it's like, "We're taking over,"
right.
Vince is like, "Ha, ha, ha." And then he's like, "There's the BWO is out here, and they have shirts that are similar to a popular clothing line." Which Paulie and Joey both stated at different times that WCW tried to sue ECW for doing the BWO thing, but they couldn't do it.
For what, the word World Order?
They were trying to sue them because they said they were ripping off the New World Order, but they couldn't because it wasn't an interaction like a property. It was a parody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't saying
right.
the NWO, they were parodying it. It would be like
they were the Blue World Order.
Yeah, it would be like SNL now getting sued by Donald Trump because they were making fun of him or whatever. It's like, no, we're parodying you.
Right.
So like ECW is like, fuck off. We're just making fun of your shit. So they're having this match, and then Raven comes out and he's watching the match. He doesn't really do anything. The reason
And
he's
it's the
watching,
first time Raven or Scott Levy's been on a Monday Night Raw since he was Johnny Polo.
yeah. So Raven gets to come back to the building that he fucking owned in '93 with the Quebecers.
Yep.
Yes.
Nate and I have talked
Yep.
about it. Archie, you've talked about it a lot too. But now he's
Yep.
a new character, and he's watching Stevie Cool, which the BWO at this point is still in Raven's Nest, even though they're kind of leading towards barely legal.
Right.
Stevie ends up winning that match with a Stevie kick 1, 2, 3. Guido and Stevie didn't do anything bad. They didn't do anything great. They just got ECW out
Standard
there.
match.
I was into it. Yeah.
Right.
Good match.
Now, as much, all right, Vince wouldn't have done it because obviously he had a working agreement with Paulie and ECW. He was bringing them on to help with the ratings. But Lawler could have been a very big asshole had he said when Raven came out, "Is that Scotty Polo?" You know what I mean? He could have totally buried Raven in 1 second. You know what I mean? And he didn't, thank God. But
Like,
I always found it funny that Lawler bit his tongue.
and I think honestly, like Nate, you and I were talking about, we were talking about this with Chad about how Cornette and Heyman, we used to think they hated each other, but they didn't. Yeah.
No, they were friends.
Lawler and Heyman fucking hate each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think Jerry was smart enough to know Vince wants to do something with this ECW thing, and I can only go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, you look at the history of Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon together or apart. Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon are I mean, honestly, the same person. You know, like they're the same kind of guy. They're the same kind of promoter. What do I want to say? A liked mindset. You know.
Yeah, kind of how you're saying. Like Lawler knew enough that I'm gonna bury this thing enough, but I still have to be able to make money with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So not knocking what Arch is saying, because Lawler could have been like, hey, wasn't he Johnny Polo? He knew enough to go, okay, I'm gonna knock this shit, but I'm not gonna completely fucking bury it because down the road there's gonna be money on the table with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I'll probably actually punch Paul in the face when I get the opportunity.
Oh, I'm sure he hit Paul a couple of times. Yeah.
But he knew where his fucking bread was being buttered at that time.
Oh, definitely.
So the next thing is amazing. It wasn't like a fucking knockdown, drag out clinic of wrestling. It was Sonny versus Terry Runnels, Marlena at the time, an arm wrestling contest. And the honky tonk
was badass.
And the honky tonk man was the referee. Good God, Lord! Like
Sonny, Nate, Aaron, have you ever seen you've seen the movie Rain Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wapner's on it
says about the lady at the bar. Remember what he says about the lady at the bar? She's very shiny like a holiday. Yes. Sonny was very shiny like a holiday on this Monday Night Raw. I liked her a lot.
Man, people can say what they want about Tammy now. But back in the day, she was all the way live.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get there. They're hyping this thing. The broads come out. Honky Tonk Man's out there. He's doing his Honky Tonk Man thing. But we got to go to a commercial. Y'all come back. Because who wouldn't?
Right.
It's these two broads are going to have this arm wrestling match. They're scantily clad. It's fantastic. Raw is brought to you by Foot Action. If that brings anything back for you guys. Foot action. They were like the Bush League Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Right.
Like their employees didn't have striped shirts. They had like a light blue shirt and a black.
Horizontal.
But anyway, Raw spots.
Are you a referee? No.
For every action, there's foot
Foot
action.
action. That's oh, you remember their fucking slogan. Good job. You Google it.
There's that, and there's tough acting to acting. But anyway,
Yep.
Fucking,
God, we're old.
Yeah.
We're showing our age.
Yes.
So anyway, Honky Tonk Man is reffing this arm wrestling match between Sonny and Marlena, and Lawler's obviously making the obvious Lawler jokes about, man, he's got the best job. Oh, he's got the best seat in the house because he's looking at their tits, you know. And Sonny is doing the Rick Rude gimmick.
Yep.
And it's the, if you people don't shut up, I'm not gonna, or I shouldn't say, like, she's doing the, like, I'm sexier than you people. If you don't stop talking, I'm gonna leave. She's doing all that shit. Like, you people are trash. Da 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 da. I'm lost in my notes here. Sorry. Give me a minute. I'm sorry.
And while Sonny's doing this, poor Terry's just sitting there with nothing to say or do. You know what I mean? Like Honky and Sonny are stealing the show, and Terry's like a mannequin.
Yeah.
What I can remember.
She's lost.
It's like, where's Dustin?
So all this shit's happening, and then where am I at? I'm sorry, guys. Give me a second.
Take your time.
I will say this. I'll go back to it. It's Sonny at this time. Like for me, what is this? 97.
Yep.
Ooh,
I'm 16 at the time. What are you about? 19?
I'm 18, going on 19.
18, right.
And because I'm 18 because I'm going to graduate in a few months. And
right.
At this time, what is this? 97. Sonny and Mariah Carey are the objects of my affection.
Oh my God.
You
wanted to sing "You Got Me Feeling Emotions" to Sonny.
Yes, I sure did. And I hope they're both in the room. And it's going to be the best 37 seconds of their life.
Anyway, I got my notes back.
All right, good.
Basically, during this, a big lady attacks Marlena, which the big lady is China. We're just going to say it. But they haven't given her a name yet. So this big, gigantic lady attacks Marlena. Sonny says that Marlena can forfeit due to the big lady's attack. Marlena refuses. So Sonny's doing like this backpedaling angle, which is great. And as they start doing the arm wrestling contest, Sonny ends up tossing powder into the eyes of Marlena. And like I said, my notes get kind of sketchy here, but Savio winds up in this situation. Savio Vega's out there, and all of this shit
for no reason
leads to a Savio Vega versus Goldust match,
which makes no sense.
Yes. And Savio, so this whole fucking like jerk off session with Sonny and Marlena ends, and we roll into Savio Vega versus Goldust, and Miguel Perez is on headset. He just shows up. Here's Miguel.
Are you
Right.
are you wearing a carpet?
Right. Are you wearing a sweater?
It's just
No.
my back, man.
No,
It's
no.
my back,
This is my back, man.
man.
You want me to shave it? No, leave it alone. Go away.
It's just my thing. So Miguel Perez is on headset. He's mad at Savio. There's a Chris Candido chant at Sunny because she's out there. And then Crush ends up getting involved, and Miguel Perez jumps in the ring to help Goldust, and Goldust and Miguel Perez run off Crush and Savio, and Goldust wins by DQ.
And if I remember correctly, I won't say I haven't watched this in a long time because I watch a lot of 97 a lot because it's my favorite year in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But Miguel Perez, unfortunately, no heat.
Oh no!
like nobody gives a fuck.
No.
Nope.
Who the fuck is this hairy substitute
They had
teacher?
no idea who this fucking monkey was. I'm not even saying that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that as a derogatory term. They had no idea who this hairy Puerto Rican ape was. They had no idea. And I'm really sorry that I stumbled over the fucking Sable, or not Sable, the
Sorry,
Sunny.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I saved it with Mariah Carey. It's all good.
All right, you guys are good.
Right.
But anyway, Goldust wins by DQ.
Natal edited just where it just comes into him talking about Mariah Carey, and then you going into the rest of the match.
All right, good. So then we get a flashback to a earlier Raw in '93 with Jerry Lawler interviewing Tiny Tim. And the reason they did this
Yes.
is because Jerry Lawler is going to attempt to interview Ken Shamrock, who's in the crowd with his kids and his wife. And Lawler's like, oh, here's my best friend, Ken Shamrock. And the funniest
he's like, hey, isn't that Luger's wife from '94?
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
It's
Not
pretty
all,
deep.
not all little Asian ladies look the same.
That's a super deep cut though. I'm sorry.
It was funny though. The best is Lawler does something that's really funny that a little bit of the crowd gets because they laugh, but I don't know if anybody I don't know if, like, if there's 1,500 people there, okay, maybe 25 of them heard it. Lawler walks up and he goes, oh, this is my really good friend, Kim Shamrock.
Kim Shamrock.
Yeah, Kim Shamrock.
Kim Shamrock.
Like 15 people laugh. So it's like, it was funny. And as Lawler's talking to him, like, Shamrock's just like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. And it just kind of ends with Lawler frustrated because Kim Shamrock won't put him over, and he walks away. So that's all it really is. But this is Ken Shamrock's debut into the WWF. You guys got anything on that?
It's awkward.
It is.
It is.
But it's also
Yeah.
it's also a testament to Jerry Lawler, because anytime at this period of the WWF, when they were bringing somebody that had nothing to do before with wrestling or really young, who was the first guy they put him in there with?
Lawler.
Mark
Henry.
Yeah,
They did it with Mark Henry, right?
because he was going to get that shit over.
Scott Putski.
Yeah, it's like, because this guy's going to make it work. He's going to take this fucking greenhorn and get something out of it. You know what I mean? Like at this time, honestly, from like 93 to 97, Lawler was the fucking utility player for that company. And
He was the litmus test.
Yeah. Like they said, hey, we're bringing ECW in. We don't know if this shit's going to get over. We don't know how this is going to work. All right. Give it to Lawler. He'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
And he did.
Jerry Lawler doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, at this point in his career.
Well, he's in the We Can't Wrestle Podcast Hall of Fame, so
good for him.
not
Right.
that he gives a shit, but we do.
Right.
So up next, Paul Lee introduces Mikey Whipwreck and Taz, and it's a Taz versus Mikey Whipwreck match. The match is going on, and during the match, Lawler says that Taz has bought a vacation home and an ant farm.
Yep.
That's how little he is. And then Paulie says Jerry Lawler has been on top of a territory for 76 years because nobody else can beat him. So he's just like, you've been running your own territory for 76 years. They're just going back and forth. And then as they're yelling at each other, all of a sudden, Paulie freaks the fuck out. And he's like, it's Sabu. It's Sabu. And then Sabu is on top of the RAW sign, and he
Raw.
jumps onto Team Taz.
And almost murders himself.
Yes.
Almost murders himself because he almost misses them completely.
Which Taz had talked about before, saying that it was a joke between those two, that Sabu didn't actually jump off, he fell.
He fell, exactly.
Like Sabu's
Exactly.
like, I jumped off the R on Monday Night Raw, and Taz is like, no, you stupid ass, you fell off.
You stumbled.
You stumbled. The R moved and you fell.
For all the quality control in the WWF/WWE, that R was pretty wobbly.
Right. But to their defense, I don't think they expected a 235-pound Arabian to be jumping off of it that night.
You mean a Bombabian?
Arabian, Bombabian, homicidal, Jewicidal, genocidal, call
The
him
guy
what you
from
will.
Ann Arbor.
The guy from Ann Arbor, exactly.
Sabu's from Ann Arbor.
The guy from Ann Arbor. Right.
Anyway.
Doesn't sound so good, though, Aaron. Doesn't sound so good, Aaron. I don't think they expected a guy from Ann Arbor to jump off the R.
But anyway, Sabu from Ann Arbor, who fell. Terry Bronk from Ann Arbor, who fell off the R. But it was actually
That's the name of this show.
Terry Bronk from Ann Arbor.
From Ann Arbor.
I'm writing it down as we speak.
Thank you, sir.
But anyway, the end of this match is Taz beating Mikey with a Taz mission. And I actually liked it. I actually liked this segment. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool seeing Mikey on Raw. And I thought that, like, Sabu, whether he jumped or fell off the R or whatever, this honestly was my favorite ECW portion of the show. I enjoyed it.
Right. Another thing I enjoyed about it, because they talk about it so much when you hear like the history of ECW going into the pay-per-view. Taz and Sabu had yet to touch each other for one full year leading into their match at Barely Legal.
Yeah.
And even here at Raw, with Sabu diving, falling, whatever, off the R onto Team Taz, when Taz went to go get to him, they pushed Sabu back just enough that they still couldn't get to each other.
Yeah.
So that was great storytelling, in my opinion.
I thought this was a really good segment. You guys got anything else on that?
I do not.
Okay.
And the only thing I'll add is I think everything ECW did on the show was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. The next thing, and I forgot to mention it going through the show, is they kept hyping a big surprise. Like Vince McMahon just kept going, there's going to be a big surprise. There's going to be a big surprise. There's going to be a big surprise. And then Vince is like, coming up, you're going to get the big surprise. So now we're going to our big surprise match. The Headbangers come out. And Lawler's like, I like those guys, but I don't think that's a surprise. And Vince is like, no,
Right.
here it is. And it's, oh, what a rush. The Legion of Doom have returned
Right.
to WWF, and the Manhattan Center lost their fucking mind. They went goddamn insane. Okay.
Well, and because they're in the Manhattan Center, and that was the original look for Monday Night Raw, right?
Right.
It almost LOD showing up on this particular episode was the perfect impact they could make. You know,
Oh, right.
you have that look of the Legion of Doom coming back to the WWF, and I mean it was super cool.
Yeah, it was. And it's also
It was perfect timing.
It's also the fact of like
Even though
like we were talking about, like this was kind of like an ECW crowd, you know,
Mhm.
like and I love ECW or whatever. I love the ECW fans, but like, you know, they're talking about shitting on things or whatever. It didn't matter who would have came out in the ECW arena when the lights went out and came back on. They'd lose their fucking minds.
Well, they were popping. Yeah,
They were going to pop no matter what. It was like when these guys came back, it was just. I'm not even saying. I don't even want to say it's like it didn't matter who it was, but it's like when these guys came back, they fucking lost their goddamn minds because they're like, "Holy shit,
Oh
it's
yeah.
fucking Hawk and Animal."
Yep.
We just saw Hawk and Animal like a couple of weeks ago on WCW. You know what I mean? It's not like they were coming back from nothing. It was just the fact that they're fucking here now, and they at that time were the fucking Undertaker of tag team wrestling.
And we will get into over the next year or so how WWF completely fucked it up.
Right. I was about to say this was the first really big shot WWE did to taking talent away from WCW was the Road Warriors. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
all they're taking the Marty Jannettis and the Jim Powers, but then the big names were the Hogans and the Savages. WWF coercing back the Road Warriors to Raw was awesome. And then you shit the bed because you decided, how can we make the Road Warriors better? Let's add Darren Drozdov.
And one more thing I'll say. You said Marty Jannetty, WCW.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the second time in the show because I did it earlier with Pat Tanaka, where I do my my like doing my voice but doing music. Could they have picked worse music for Marty Jannetty in WCW?
No.
They gave him the generic. It's like that is not even like, and he's trying to come out like with his rocker enthusiasm, and he's got this fucking slow ass dirge as he's coming to the ring.
You know, he heard it. You know when he heard it, he was like, "Fuck! I didn't realize I signed up for this."
Anyway, sorry, Aaron.
I should have begged Vince for another chance.
Like, apparently, I'm the mid-afternoon rocker.
Hey, right. I'm a toker. I'm a smoker.
I'm an afternoon napper. That doesn't even rhyme, Marty.
He even tries. He tries to be like rocker enthusiastic to that slow ass fucking dirge they send him out to. Anyway,
now, just one more thing about a Marty Jannetty, and I'm sorry, Aaron, I really am.
That's okay. But I don't give a shit about
with
this.
all the famous, with all the famous
20 downloads. What do
I? I don't even know how many I have. With all the famous cruiserweights they had, they brought in guys like Scott Putski, who ping-ponged back and forth between the WWF and WCW 4 times.
And why would you ever book him as a cruiserweight?
And Marty Jannetty as a cruiserweight. Like, why were they the ultimate United States cruiserweights? Not Alex Wright, not Chris Jericho. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, we're getting Scott Putski and Marty Jannetty, boys. And then WWE's answer was to make the Fantastics wrestle each other as the opening to their light heavyweight division. You know what I mean? It's like, why would anybody take this seriously? We'll
talk about it in the upcoming.
Go ahead.
So the Legion of Doom is the big surprise. Like I said, the Manhattan Center lost their minds. And Nate, you were talking about like they shit the bed with them down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I put in here they almost shit the bed with them here because
Right.
Because the match was too long.
it was way too fucking long.
I agree.
The
And
headbangers.
then
I'm
didn't
not
end
even.
in a
I'm not even knocking the
disqualification or
headbangers.
something.
I'm not even knocking the headbangers.
No.
because I like the headbangers.
No, but you're right. Whoever was in this match, whether it's the Headbangers, whether it's the Godwins, whether it's whoever, the Spiders, they
Took
should
all
have
their
been.
fucking
They
ass.
should have been the fucking Mulkeys in this
It
match.
should have been a 3-minute match.
It should have been 45 seconds. Get them out there. Ding, ding, ding. 45 seconds. Get the fuck out. But this thing went way too long. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some good lines in it because Jerry Lawler says, when you tell a guy from New York to take the trash out, he takes his girlfriend on a date.
That's funny. That is funny. I won't lie.
And then they're talking about the headbangers. And Lawler's like, you don't know anything about headbanging music, Vince. And Vince is like, yeah, I do. He goes, really? Like, you know about the butthole surfers? Vince goes, I beg your pardon.
Are you talking about Pat Patterson?
Pat asked us not to call him down on live television, Jerry.
Yeah, it's so funny. Lawler's like, so you know about the butthole surfers? Vince's like, I beg your pardon. It was so fucking funny. Like, it cracked me up. Oh. But then guess how the match
Is it
ends?
wrong? In a DQ, I think. Right?
It ends in a double count out.
Yeah, something.
Like
Stupid non-finish.
the headbangers end up brawling with the Road Warriors after they've just been brought in as this fucking, oh, here they are. And it's a double count out. But then
Now,
after it's over, sorry, Archie, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
After it's done, they still allow Hawk and Animal to get the Doomsday device on Mosh.
Right.
After the match was fucking over. So why not just let them get the Doomsday device and pin Mosh?
Right.
Like, how are you?
Why were we protecting the headbangers? Right.
And I'm not even.
Why are we? They weren't the champions. They weren't the World Tag Team Champions. They weren't that over yet with the crowd. They've only been there a few months. You know what I mean?
It's not like it was Owen and Davey out there being like, we don't give a fuck.
Right.
Bring them out. You know what I mean? I can see if it was like Owen and Davey, you know, and it was going to lead to something.
But I got news for you. Owen and Davey would have took the Doomsday device gladly.
And I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I know they would have, but what I'm saying is, and fucking the headbangers were probably like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what is this?
Right.
Like they got there and they're like, oh, you're gonna wrestle fucking Hawk and Animal tonight, and they're like, oh, I'm assuming we're getting pinned, and they were like, oh no, you're gonna go 10 minutes,
No, double count
out, and Chaz and Glenn were probably like, what?
And it is.
Who wrote that?
It's indicative of something we've said on multiple shows on the network. The WWF never booked the LOD properly.
Nope.
Ever.
No,
I
sir,
agree.
they did not.
So after this, unless you guys have anything else to say on that,
No, sir.
No, we can move on.
we get that god awful Shawn Michaels fucking video. You know what I'm talking about?
Tell me a lie?
Tell me a lie and say that you
I like that video. I like that song.
Well, I like that video in 95.
Right.
But in 97,
This video was always trash. It was always
I like it in 95. I thought it was effective in 95.
It was always garbage.
Yeah, it got over where it needed to.
It was a goddamn Lex
I don't know.
Express with no nuts. That's
Hey.
how far I'm going to go with it.
Hey,
Or like the
Sean-
Bret Hart thing. You light a fire in
No,
me.
that shit's amp. That shit.
Oh God.
Don't
so
fucking
you light a fire and we use him.
Bret!
Yeah, don't
Anyway.
goddamn on my show smirch the great fucking awesomeness of You Light My Fire. The fucking Bret Hart video is fucking great. He's a badass in that fucking video. But this fucking
Listen.
goddamn
Listen, the You Light a Fire in Me song was only done and made so Brett could go film Lonesome Dove.
it doesn't fucking matter. It was still pimp.
Okay?
This
Sean, on the other
tell me
hand,
a fucking
the
lie.
Tell Me a Lie song, listen to me. When they made that song, Tell Me a Lie, it was because Sean lost his smile. And you will not besmirch Michael Heatonbottom's name because he lost his smile, sir. Can't even say that with a straight face.
Side note. Archie, you actually just brought something up that happened. You didn't even know it. But you brought something up that happened 4 days ago in my life.
Okay.
We're
You didn't lose your smile, did you?
We're hijacking Aaron's show. No, I always have my smile. I always have my smile. They can't fucking take that shit. No.
Good.
But I'm watching Yellowstone.
Okay.
Fantastic show.
It is.
It's the only thing Kevin Costner's ever done that is perfect.
Kevin Costner's standing there. I don't know what scene it was. I don't remember, to be perfectly honest with you, at this very moment. But he was standing there and he had kind of his hand on his hip.
Right.
He's got his little cowboy hat on. He's got his little jacket on and whatever. And I was like, oh, he looks like Bret Hart in the Lonesome Dove promo photo. And only a wrestling fan like us would think something like that. But anyway.
What season of that show are you into? Are you in the last season?
I'm about to finish season 2. Like I'm on the last episode of season 2.
I'm a little further than you, but you know that Rip
Tate just got kidnapped.
Okay, well, I won't. This doesn't spoil anything, but you know that Rip character on there,
Mm-hmm.
bad motherfucker. It's like the fucking like the Arn Anderson of the fucking group.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Beth, they wind up getting married, which you know is gonna happen.
Right.
Well, they wind up moving in with fucking Kevin Costner's character, and she's like living in the big house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this big ass closet, and she's like, is this enough room for you? And he's like, Jesus Christ, Beth, I have 2 pairs of jeans and 5 shirts.
That sounds like me. That sounds like me and Kendall. I'm like,
great fucking line. He's like, Jesus Christ, Beth, I have 2 pairs of jeans and 5 shirts.
when we were looking at houses before we bought this one, she was like, do you think this bedroom closet's big enough? And I literally said, do you think this bedroom closet's big enough? Because I mean, I fucking need a gun safe, and I can put all my shit in there.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's a great
That's
fucking
funny.
man.
All right,
He's a great
go
character.
ahead, Aaron.
That Beth chick is a fucking great character.
Absolutely.
And also, if you got Arch, if you're not watching Yellowstone, you need to. I'm a teenager.
I have not started it yet. No,
Watch it. And
I have not started yet, but I've heard nothing but good things.
And if you have HBO, watch The Righteous Gemstones.
That's actually on my list after Yellowstone. So
best goddamn show on TV. And Nate, you watched season 1, right?
Of what?
Of
Righteous Gemstones? I haven't watched the show yet.
Oh my god. Fucking get on that shit. The fucking first season's great, and the second season they're doing now, it's got a wrestling theme to it. It's great.
Giggity.
But anyway,
You had me at wrestling thing.
we watched this god awful Shawn Michaels video. And then
I will sing this whole song if you don't stop.
the next match is Tommy Dreamer versus Devon Dudley. And in this match is when they bring out the weapons and they start doing as far as Vince McMahon was going to allow ECW to go on his show. Okay. And there's been times that Vince McMahon has talked about conversations that he's had with Paul, where he was like, I understand what you're doing with ECW, pal. But once you get on television, you can only go so far with the violence. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking
Right.
about? That's what this thing was. Like, they let ECW get on TV, and they had like Big Stevie Cool out there with the BWO and Taz throwing people around and shit. But it wasn't like like right at the start they're fucking hitting people with shit and everything.
Right.
Right.
It might be out of left field, but I think this was Vince McMahon going, we're going to give you 3 segments. And I have a feeling right at the beginning, Paul was like, okay, well, we're going to have Stevie come out there and hit him with this. And Vince was like, no, let's lead up to the violence.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not to mention, if there were any children watching, they probably went to bed by that time.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't have exposed anybody to anything bad.
But I just, in my opinion, I think Vince probably said, let's not go full born right out the chute with the fucking violence.
Right. Right.
During this match, all the violence is happening. They're hitting each other with shit, and Vince is like, "Oh my god, like this is disturbing." And Lawler and Dangerously are yelling at each other, kind of arguing during it. There's a take your promo during the this is silly. Like Tommy Dreamer and Devon are having this hardcore fucking match. Like they're hitting each other with shit. And fucking Bubba gets involved, and then the Sandman comes out, and all this shit's going on.
Right.
And it's a fucking split screen, and it's the Undertaker cutting a promo about his upcoming match while ECW is going into their finish of their big main event on Raw.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, there was a couple of times during the ECW segments where they did split screens. Like Farouk did a split screen during the opening Big Stevie Cool match.
Yeah, but they didn't
so
do
they
it.
Kept cutting in.
Finish. They didn't do it to their finish. Right. Like they kind of fucking.
No, but it was like WWE still cutting in, saying this is our show. We're going to give you time, but we're still showing our wrestlers.
Yeah, they still kind of big dicked them here. Like they really did.
It was WWF big dogging.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They big dicked them. They were just like, our schlong's bigger than yours. And but I like I said, I enjoyed this segment. Dreamer ends up winning with the DDT, and then there's a Sandman, Dreamer, Devon, Bubba Dudley brawl at the end. Then Paulie is out there trying to thank Vince. It's like Vince, or at first Lawler's like, we brought you in here, you should be thankful, and Paulie's like, you had nothing to do with it. It was the cojones of your boss. And he tells Vince, he's like, I didn't think you had the nuts to do this, but thank you very much. And Lawler's getting mad, and he's saying shit to Paulie, and then they end up getting in a fight, and they get pulled apart. And that's how ECW leaves, with Paulie and Lawler getting pulled apart. I thought that was kind of cool.
And Jerry was the perfect guy to pair up with this, to be the anti-ECW guy. Because Vince wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I look at it like this, Nate. The way that it goes is you could look at it as Lawler almost being bitter because you didn't bring USWA on the show or any of my Memphis companies that I have, but you were willing to bring ECW on the show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You didn't give my son a job yet. You didn't give any of my guys. You stole a lot of my talent. You know what I mean? But you didn't highlight my company the way you're highlighting this as Jim Cornette would call it, an outlaw mud show. You know what I mean? So I like that was what I always got from this. Lawler was pissed off that Paulie was getting in good with Vince. Meanwhile, all the years of service Jerry did, he never got the same effect.
Right. And by the way, just to say it, just to put it out there, the birth of the Mr. McMahon character was actually on Jerry's TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which,
yes, it was.
Go on YouTube and look up McMemphis. People.
McMemphis.
It's fucking great shit. That's good shit, pal. So Paulie gets drug out of there, and then Jim Ross and Jim Cornette do a recap video of the Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Sid situation. And then from last week or a couple weeks ago, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then Todd Pettengill interviews Ken Shamrock, and he predicts that The Undertaker will win the championship at WrestleMania, but he won't pick between Bret and Austin, which is going to foreshadow some shit that's going to come down a couple weeks away, which we're not going to spoil. Right. And then we roll into our main event, which is Farouk versus The Undertaker. Farouk comes out with his Nation of Domination, and he confronts Ken Shamrock, and they talk some shit. And then Farouk ends up getting in the ring. The Undertaker comes out, and I don't want to knock either one of these guys because I like Ron Simmons and I love The Undertaker, but they proceed to have a long and very boring match.
And I mean, it's the what do I want to say? It's the circumstance of putting two guys that you're focused on up against each other in a TV match. So what I'm saying is nobody's booked to look stronger than the other.
Yeah, and they have no out.
Right.
No out in this match.
Yes.
Like, if the Undertaker's not going to fucking lose, he's the fucking number one contender, and you can't fucking job Farouk. I hate
he's doing some of the best work of his career at this point.
And I hate Ahmed Johnson, but Ahmed Johnson's the guy that is your fucking second banana. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know when I say second banana.
Your rotten banana, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that's your fucking semi-event at this point. It's like it should have ended with Lawler. Like, honestly, Raw should have ended with fucking Lawler and Paulie getting pulled apart.
The pull apart.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Let some of the ECW and WWE guys fight. Ended at that. But yep. I will say this. And again, this is not a knock at Ron Simmons. I've always thought he was a great wrestler, great athlete, and anything they put him in, he excelled at. And this is not a knock at The Undertaker. I'm a huge Undertaker fan. They never had chemistry when they got in the ring with each other.
No, they don't later in the year at the King of the Ring either.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Farouk a world title shot, and they did the perfect storyline. They used the race card. Farouk saying there's never been a black world heavyweight champion. You've never let anybody close enough to the world heavyweight title before. You know, why am I the first one getting a title shot? You know, and even Farouk, even Ahmed Johnson starts to buy into it too slightly. You know what I mean? Which we'll get to that. But my point is, those two never had chemistry.
I was going to say that black magic didn't work.
So.
And like I said, guys, at the beginning of the show, ECW was just a recap of CyberSlam, which we went over. So,
right.
Unless you guys have anything else to add to this conversation of these shows.
Yes, I would like to now sing Tell Me a Lie in its entirety.
Nate, please make some magic.
Tomorrow morning.
I'm just gonna say, Nate, make some magic with that fucking Sonny Marlena goddamn arm wrestling contest. I lost my notes in that shit. But anyway,
Hey,
Archie's not gonna sing.
2 women like that.
Huh?
No, I am going to sing, but it's going to be tomorrow in your PMs. I'm going to send you a voice clip of me singing that song at 9 a.m.
I'm gonna delete it.
And I'm going to save the audio and add it to the end of the show.
Right.
Okay. Whatever. I don't listen to this, so do whatever.
All right.
What we're doing next week, y'all, if you want to know, and Nate, listen to the date of this show and tell me if you know why it's significant. Okay? Listen. Focus.
You said listen, but
Listen.
you
Listen,
signed watch.
Listen, Linda. The next show that we are coming up on, we just did February 24th, 1997. Correct?
Yes.
That's what y'all just heard. We are going into March 3rd, 1997.
And that would be my brother's 13th birthday.
Yes.
Yay.
So, little me is going to be 13 on the day that we watch what the fuck is happening in the year that was.
Is that Berlin?
Huh?
Is March 3rd Berlin?
It is.
Oh, you had a sucky ass birthday for the WWF.
I did. I certainly did, sir. But we were also in Atlanta in the Omni for WCW. And then guess what?
They did Nitro in the Omni?
Yes.
No shit.
One time.
I didn't even remember that.
And then guess what we were doing in ECW?
Philadelphia?
Fucking reviewing another segment of Cyber Skin.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a promise.
Aaron's birthday was
Before we record, I'm going to send Aaron a birthday gift, a birthday present that he can open live on the show when we record. But you have to promise me that if it gets there like 3 or 4 days before we record, you do not open it until we record.
Okay.
All right? All right.
I got this booty ass Raw and fucking Atlanta Nitro and no ECW. This fucking shit sucks.
Yeah, Berlin Raw is bad. All I'm going to say is Savio Vega with a nerve hold.
I guarantee Nate was at Music Land not giving a fuck that it was my birthday.
Selling multiple singles of Candle in the Wind by Elton John because Prince Diana just croaked.
Yep.
Did she die then?
I don't know.
She died on my birthday?
I don't know, but I just remember one of the things that I remember because I worked at my first job, Archie, was at a Music Land / Sam Goody, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I remember two things from that. Three things from that. First of all, I lost my virginity to my store manager.
Nice.
Secondly,
his name was Dave.
Shut your face. Secondly, I remember an amazing amount of, and there are younger listeners that are going to go, what? Cassette singles of that Elton John song being sold.
Yep.
And
yes,
I remember when John Denver died, me joking with my store manager that I wanted to put like one of those little airplanes on a like a string going above the display, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm offensive," and it didn't happen. But We sold a lot of
Did you not
John
realize
Denver
that was
CDs
offensive?
that day.
It's like you should have been like, "Did you not realize I was offensive when you took my virginity?" I told you.
I'm
I told
offensive
you,
now.
I told you 4 Holocaust jokes as I climaxed.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was like, why did Hitler kill himself? Because he got his gas bill.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
What color were his eyes? Blue. One blew that way and the other blew that way.
Is that a Hitler joke or a Kurt Cobain joke?
It could be either.
Oh god.
It could be a David Koresh joke
Good night,
too.
everybody. Good night, everybody.
Aaron, sign us off. It's your fucking
I
show.
already did that like a couple minutes ago. But okay,
No, you didn't.
edit it. We're gonna get rid of the Jews and dirty jokes. Yeah.
We're going to get rid of the Jews. Thanks, Hitler.
Thank God David Gold didn't join us.
I
Thank
said
God
the
David Gold did not
Jews
win us on
and
this show.
dirty jokes. As in the dirty Jew jokes. Oh my God, that didn't sound right either.
Oh god.
Pen.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Edit. Mark for deletion.
And
I love the Jews.
all right, Brian Kendrick, sign us off.
I would like to thank
Spanky.
everyone for listening and enjoying the year that was ... 1997, and in the coming up weeks we'll get into March 3rd, 1997. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch those shows ahead of time to hear our commentary as you watch along, that would make it the most fun. If not, just listen to us fucking joke about it and have a good time. And thank you guys for listening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Get rid of
Shabbat
the
shalom.